Hello there, guys. Okay, good. It is working. So, I was going to record a very different video today, and in the end, I decided I was going to record this video. Hi, Tammy. And it's kind of a really sad day for me today. And hi, Susie. Because today the news broke that Totalbiscuit passed away. And hi, guys. Hi, Solar. Hi, Changeling. Changeling Ray, that's an awesome name. So, I was going to do a totally different video, and I will still do that video. I'm going to talk about, quote unquote, defending the Dark Goddess and why that's a thing. But I'm going to save that for another day, and we're going to just talk about some of these things today. So, Totalbiscuit, if you don't know, is a YouTuber. He's on the gaming side of YouTube. And we are indeed back to pink. And he's a YouTuber. He's a quite famous gaming YouTuber. And he passed away from cancer at age 33. And it really hit me quite hard. I was like really emotionally struck by this. And usually, when it's celebrities or things, I will have a moment, if they've affected my life, I'll have a moment of sadness or whatever and like honor their work and things. Definitely did that for Bowie. And, but the Totalbiscuit thing made me cry. And it's not like I knew who Totalbiscuit was as an individual, because I didn't. I had just interacted with his content for years. And so it was a really interesting emotional response, and it made me sit and take stock a little bit. So the first thing that I'm going to say for this video is thoughts and all my love out to his family, because I can't even imagine. He's been fighting to get into America to be with his wife for years and years and years, and that was finally starting to die down, and they were looking after her kid together and things, and then this happened. And I was just thinking about Totalbiscuit's wife this morning, and I shed a tear. I shed a tear about Totalbiscuit's loss. I thought it was really, really sad. And it got me thinking about how people impact on us, even if they don't realize they've impacted on us. So Totalbiscuit was part of a different part of my life. So I enjoy gaming, which people may or may not know. I've always enjoyed gaming. And I've watched the gaming channels for a long, long, long time. And to see somebody who was a leading voice in the YouTube community as well as the gaming community cut down at such a young age by, cancer. Fuck cancer, because Jesus. But it's really, really sad. And I'm struggling even to articulate these emotional responses to. Okay. Well, Totalbiscuit is probably the lead gaming YouTuber. He paved the way for a lot of other YouTubers, and he's defended YouTuber rights, not just for gaming. He was a critical voice in the community, so he wouldn't pretend to like something if he didn't like it. He would give a fair review. And it's a really strange feeling, because you go through all these strange responses to it. It's like, well, do I have a right to feel this sad when you've never even spoken to the person, And it's a very strange line, because I think YouTube is, or has been anyway, there's problems going on with YouTube. But people, when they're on YouTube, it's not really a celebrity so much. It's more like it's closer to our peers, I guess, especially when they're around the same age as you, when you've grown up listening to their content, and you're used to So, like, we used to have their long gaming podcast, and then a gaming podcast would go on for 2 or 3 hours, and I used to stick it on in the background while cleaning the house and things, stuff like that. And it's just parts of your routine, and it's really, really surreal. It's one of those moments of just life is just gone, you know, and it can be just cut short the way that Totalbiscuit's life was cut short. So it got me thinking and sitting down with some thoughts that I'd already been thinking about. And I was thinking about life and happiness. And I had fallen over, I think it's kind of an older video with Will Smith on it. And he was talking about marriage, and he was talking about, your happiness is your responsibility. It's not on anyone else to make you happy. And I'd watched that this morning before I'd heard the news, and I was like, geez, everything like lining up in messages from the universe 101 kind of style. It's interesting, and it's like, on the one hand, you have the reminder that this incarnation of life, as we perceive it to be now, can be cut short at a moment's notice. We could lose ourselves, we can lose people that are dear to us just like that, and it's a reminder to live. I think it's a reminder that we don't have to live the way other people have lived in order to have an impact, because Totalbiscuit was one of these people that basically pioneered the YouTube side of it, things, and pioneered making money through YouTube for gamers and things. So he created a whole industry almost around him, and he defended that industry when people came for it. Other journalists come for YouTubers sometimes, and if you didn't know, like when you review things, particularly like games and whatnot, like mainstream media can come for YouTube, try and drag them down, and Totalbiscuit stood up for people. And so I was musing and like going over all of these feelings, and having quite an emotional response. My heart was just like, my heart hurts for his wife. Like, seriously, like she left this beautiful poem on Twitter and said she was, beyond grieving. She couldn't respond to people, and I was like, my heart is just fucking breaking for someone that I don't know. And that's strange? Is that a weird response? And I left messages anyway, because I was like, I'm not gonna, because sometimes I get like awkward about these things, like where is the line online and things, but I'm like, I'm gonna leave condolences anyway. I'm gonna just be like, my love to all the family, and like sending, thank you for everything you've given, kind of thing, to the memory of Totalbiscuit. And I was sat there, and I was like, it's a weird feeling, because you feel like you, on the one hand, you don't really have any right to be mourning, and there are people that will say you don't. And it's a strange experience. It's one of these death experiences, which is really strange. Like, and it's interesting because then you get kind of like the how would you put it? The games that come in, and people are like, you're allowed to mourn, you're not allowed to mourn, that sort of thing. And it's a really peculiar situation. So I decided what I was going to do with it is feed it into something that I was already doing. I had already decided to do before this news hit. So I bought myself a new journal. This is my new journal, with the star tarot card in gold on the front. And the new journal starts like this. What makes or would make me happy? And then I started listing everything that I felt made me happy or would make me happy, or the progression or the depth of which would make me happy for myself. And I started off by just writing down everything. And then I was taking a closer look at what I have control over, what I have control over to change. So it was really about readjusting and refocusing mindset. So I'm going to read you a few little bits that I wrote today. I may sneeze. Apologies. That's super professional if I'm going to sneeze. If we're going to sneeze, let's just do it. Let's not hold out. Come on. Oh, I hate it when this happens. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Okay. So the first thing that I wrote down as making me happy is what I have loosely termed as my work. I call it work very loosely because the term doesn't really cover what this is for me. This is my passion. This is my calling. This is something that I adore to do. I'm here to do. I love to do it. And there are different parts of it that really do make me happy. The feeling when I'm published, and I have become published, and it's mainly on websites and things right now, but we're working towards a book. And then the store and making a difference to people's spiritual lives, and that applies to videos too. And so that is a big part of my life that makes me happy. And I think it's good to remember that it does, and that it will continue to. Helping people through spiritual crafting, the connections, the conversations that come about because of YouTube, because this ties into the whole how we make connections with people online and how that matters. Looking for happiness in things such as I have done here that, witchcraft in general makes me happy. There's something about the practice, there's something about the truth of it, there's something about the depth of it, there's something about the aesthetic of it, there's something about the feeling of it. But witchcraft is something which definitely makes me happy. I've put it down here that love, sex, passion, intimacy, having a best friend and a lover, someone to face the world with, definitely makes me happy. But I have kind of asterisked it to draw attention to myself that you have to be careful with those situations, because those aren't the ones that you have full, it's not fully you making yourself happy at that point. There's nothing wrong with a kind of push-pull in those situations, like them making you happy and then there being a balance. But I started off by writing everything down. Friendship times with people who changed my life. Chris, I don't know where she is. We probably said Chris and she'll probably appear now. The cat. Writing books and poetry. Warcraft movies, books, and video games. So video games is in here. And that ties back. Exploring nature, seeing new places that I haven't interested in, although I don't want to feel pressured to perform in those circumstances. There's been this really strange thing that's been happening lately, when it all has to be as if it's on stage, or all has to be a challenge, and it's really been strange to me that that's been a thing. And so I also wrote down, I need to lose some weight though. I know that I used to have fun and feel good dressing myself, having fun with clothes and makeup, and more than I do now. You can't really tell from here, but I can tell from the rest of me. So that is something that I needed to do. And then I progressed this idea of, in general, I mean, the YouTube thing can definitely be a stage, and there is definitely there are different lines, I think, because on the one hand, I fully support people who come on here and they share only a certain amount of information, and certain things are off camera and they're not anybody's business, and that's their private life, because that, as an on stage, off stage thing, I can totally get behind. But when it's kind of like a performance for spiritual stuff on video, that's something I can't get behind. So, and then I decided that we would talk about things that we can do to change. So I have the weight loss written down on what I want to do, and I'm going to be starting probably on Monday, because I came on this week and I'm like, it's not the best times to be doing that. And looking at going to the gym, looking at walking out every day, looking at what we're eating. There are problems with basically the flatten things with regards to food, but I just had to find ways around it. Journaling things that are bothering me rather than directing it outward. And then because I was reading, a lady on YouTube said, keep a journal and you will find that there will be gold within that journal. Hi, Jen. To blog about, to video about, to turn it into gold. And I was thinking about how I allow certain things to affect me or not, and how to get a handle on that for my own head. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm very Virgo in my thought processes and things, and I analyze and see patterns in situations. I overthink and overfeel certain situations, definitely, which is not something they claim is a Virgo thing, but I'm like, yeah, it is. And a dumb question: when you're in one of those places, how do you bring yourself to journal? Big problem for me with that. So what I did yesterday, I had a bad day yesterday, and I went out for a walk into nature, and I had my little notebook with me, not this one, I had a different one, and I just wrote feelings and wrote lines, and it doesn't have to make any kind of sense. It can just be words, it can just be descriptors, it can just be a color of a feeling, if that makes sense. Like this mood is really, really gray, and like it just takes it out of you a little bit. It like drains the poison out a little bit. And you don't even have to use words. You could just free flow doodle, draw, just make lines, just make scratches, just you can be quite aggressive when you're like drawing lines and things. If you're feeling quite pent up and aggressive with it, you could just, and it just, it's an expression. It doesn't have to be articulate as an expression, I don't think, as long as it's outside of the self rather than just circling round and round and round in your head and kind of like draining you. So, and I was like planning some things for finances, planning out the future of an idea that I've had in my head about where to go with video courses and online courses and books and things that I want to write, and how to change my perspective, change my approach. Hey, Victoria. And so I'm looking at this thing about how to create I'm calling it a lifestyle for now. In my head, I may change that vocabulary, but I'm calling that a lifestyle change for me, like a healthier one, like a more spiritually positive one, a way to seek balance, because I'm never going to be fluffy la la all the time. I know I'm not. That wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be truthful. It would be putting on a persona rather than really engaging with all sides of my personality. I know my personality can be light and silly when the mood takes me, and I can sing and be stupid and do daft stuff. That's cool, and we can definitely do that. And then on the flip side, it has to be okay for me to sometimes talk about the things that hurt and the things that are raw and the things that are deeper, because that's being true to who I am as an individual. So I'm looking at the idea of taking truth. I am actually writing a book right now. The book is on OM. There is a publisher involved. I'm writing it. It's the problem is that, again, I'm Virgo. And so I'm like, hi Erica. So I am writing my first one. My first OM book. I'm writing it. It's just that, like, the first part of each section for each OM is like folklore intensive. Hi Johnny. And so I'm like, I must have all the folklore correct. I must cross-examine my sources, and that takes time. The bits where it's just me writing my bits, I'm like, fine, because I'm like, I know what I want to say. But when it's like getting the folklore bit right, that takes a bit more time. But I also want to expand on the Dirt and Bone woman, although it's probably going to be like the Dirt and Bone lifestyle. And that has come from the poetry on the Dirt and Bone woman. It's come from the Reclaiming Your Weird spirit that's been going. It's that vibe. And it's not, for me, like, you hear a lot of the idea of becoming wild, and the idea, there's a saturation of that. But for me, I want it to be tangible. I want it to be livable. I want it to be something which bleeds into life, not idealism. And I want to take ideals, sure, but I want to be like, right, how can we live that? How can we get our fingers in the dirt of that? And so for me, that's what the program is becoming, the process is becoming, is this lifestyle idea about how to get back to ourselves. And we do live in times which are scary and kind of like pushing people to conform out of fear. This is another thing that I really want to talk about. I want to do another video about, so I might actually do that sooner rather than later. I might like finish this video and like do another live soon, because I really want to talk about the whole like incel women not being safe thing. Just talk to your ladies and guys out there and talk about that. I think that's really important. But there is like this pressure that if you don't conform right now, it's dangerous. It can be really scary, and it is a frightening thing. It's a frightening prospect. And so I was thinking, but in the face of that, these are the times. These are the times that we are called upon to be really, really truthful to what we believe. What do we stand for? Where is the line? How much of ourselves do we give away to things which don't enrich us, don't empower us? And this can be within our own head. Like, I've been learning to like take myself out of my own head, or trying to. And it can be in society and things in general too. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at what can we do to bring people, community together, and that will be a learning experience for me and for everybody who comes with me on this journey of dirt and bone. It doesn't have to be just women. I don't want it to just be women. I love empowering women. I think that's great. Spirit's moving my books. Thanks for that, Spirit. So I'm looking at that, and I have that. The thing is because I'm a Virgo, I've got 20 tabs open. So things on the go, things I want to do, projects. And so I'm looking at what feeds into what, and trying to find a kind of middle ground. And this really came home to me with kind of like this loss in the community today. And death will do that. death will put things in perspective for sure. And because you could get to the point where you're stressing about things and stressing about things and stressing about things, and then death kind of comes in and gives you a bit of perspective. If it was all gone tomorrow, would it matter what you were stressing about yesterday? That kind of feeling, that kind of vibe. Because I'm not one of these people that can be like, I'm suddenly not feeling a situation because I'm going to be happy, happy, la la. I wish I could be. I wish I could. But like things get under my skin sometimes and things do irritate me. So I think for me, like the kind of like the death wiping the slate thing was like much more profound and sad than the other idea of just feeding something else. Like just it was much, I guess it was more dark goddess kind of energy. It was kind of like more it's not finite, because I don't believe that death is finite. I don't believe that death is the end. I think it's all in motion and a process. I think that we keep on living in different forms and energy transforms from one thing to another. So yeah, it totally has flipped things on its head. And maybe for me it's because I am so disconnected from physical family. So like if there were deaths in my physical family, I wouldn't know. I'd be the last to know, at least. And it would be a mixed bag of things. So I guess for me it's a really strange situation. Oh, thank you, Rose Spirit. That's lovely. So it's been one of those really eye-opening moments. I guess that's what I wanted to say. It's heart-wrenching, and I had this weird moment of how much are we allowed to mourn? Because obviously there are people who know him and had him in their life, and I was like, and I don't want to lessen their pain, take away from their pain, like make out like it's about me. It's not. And then on the other hand, like if I don't talk about it, that's not honest either. It's such a strange thing. It won't, Dark Strike. The YouTube community won't be the same without Totalbiscuit. It won't. The landscape is going to be completely different. YouTube is having problems anyway. YouTube is kind of losing its soul and doing some really strange things, and it's going to be a very strange landscape without someone like Totalbiscuit defending the little guys on YouTube. I don't think you can really take away from other people's pain either, unless it is a performance, like you said. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just sign of an over-analytical mind to be aware that some people use grief and things as a performance. Yeah, YouTube is degrading the only platform I felt comfortable on. Yeah, me too. I have no idea how to operate any of the other platforms. So like there's been talk about people going on Twitch and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is a whole thing I don't know how to do, and I'm panicking, and oh my god, like that. Yeah, TB always said consumer first, and he did stick up for the little guys. He absolutely did. So talking about that, Augury says Memento Mori is such a powerful reminder of what it is to live. It's why I have skeletons tattooed on my legs as a reminder. So I actually decided that I'm going to pop my cherry and go get a tattoo. This might be a really stereotypical way of reacting to death. It probably is, but this is something that I've wanted to do, and I want a little fox on my wrist, and I found one that I really like, and the price is not too much. Money's a bit tight right now, but it's not too much. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get one because I've kind of always wanted one. Fox is my totem. Yeah, me too. It's a strange feeling. Like, I've always wanted to have one done, but I've always been like, oh, I need to lose weight first because it's an ongoing weight battle thing. But I was like, if I get it on my wrist, your wrist ain't gonna change that much. So even if I do like manage to go, get no, we're gonna manage to get down the gym and we're gonna manage to get back in shape and stuff. It should be right on my wrist, right? I'm not gonna have like a wonky fox there. Yeah. And talk myself into it too. I was like I went in today to talk to them, and Asbjorn went to talk to them about his 9 millionth tattoo. So I was like, so if I had a little one, how much would that be? Like, the price difference, by the way, is crazy. Like, he costs so much money. Just if you're ever thinking of getting an Asbjorn, just take the cost into account. Jeez. Anyway, it is, but they said if I have one like this, it will be £50, English pounds. And I was like, okay. I was a bit cross because when I went in, they were like, probably 30 to 40. And when I showed her the picture, she was like, oh, probably 50 to 60. You might want it slightly larger than the picture. And I was like, I don't know that I want it larger than the picture. Yes, I will get it for life. It's going to be a interesting one, but it's funny because the last time I felt really inclined to push myself to be who I wanted to be, I had a piercing. So I had up here done. That was the piercing I had done the last time I felt like that to push. I'm not going to say fuck weight loss because I know that I'm not comfortable where I am. And I want to do it right. I want to do it properly. I want to do it like healthily, but I do want to lose weight. It would just make me feel better. So that's why I'm doing it. Also, I don't mind the gym. Like, the physical act of the gym, I don't mind. The bit that I don't like is exactly what happened the first time I went, when there was like very, very blonde, very, very tanned, very, very slim women. Like, there were two of them and they were like sneering at me. Oh, I love Magica. I love Magica. So yeah. I have a gym membership, and come Monday, I'm gonna just let my body recover from time of the month, and then Monday we're gonna start the gym. I'm gonna do the walks this week though, and get into that this week because the walks aren't too bad. Yeah, birth control made me bullying too. I mean, I've come off it, but I've not lost any from coming off it. I've just gone up again, so that was even worse. Yeah. I'm very prone to circling thoughts myself. I get where you're coming from when it comes to connection to the interwebs. Love and strength to you. Love and strength to you too, Phoenix. So yeah, I think that's a good place to round off this particular video. I might take a breath, get a drink, and do the other one that I was planning on doing. The incel one, because that's really important right now. So even though we're, so when I get my tattoo done, I will come on and I'll show you all. And I'll be like, I managed it. So much love to everybody. I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to go have a chill for 5-10 minutes. And then I'm going to go live again. I'm going to talk about incels and just do 2 of these videos. One, boom, boom. So thank you guys for joining me. And I'm going to have a drink. And if you want to come talk to me about incels and protecting women and all that good stuff, I will be on again, probably about 10-15 minutes. Won't be long. All right. See you guys soon.